can continue the program. We need everybody back in their seats, if you don't mind. You folks in the back, would you find a seat? Guy, make sure those people standing back there find a seat. Folks, can I have your attention? Will you please be seated? Can I get you all to be seated for a moment? Can we get everybody over in the corner seated? David Hirsch. David, and I think it's Larry Moen Curley. Oh no, that's David Hirsch. Folks, would you find your seat? And I have three distinguished gentlemen I want to introduce. If you can find your seats. Okay? Couple over there being seated. Please be seated over there. Please be seated. Thank you. Okay. If I can get a shh. Thank you. Oh, they're still walking and talking. They should be there in a minute. Now they're walking and talking and hugging. Now they're walking, talking, hugging, and then zipping. This is getting interesting. It's getting a lot better than I thought it would be. Thank you. I think we're all set. Folks, if I can have your attention, please. You folks in the back can have your attention. It's very important. You heard one of the gentlemen up here describe that the heroes, oftentimes when you talk to our military men about heroes, they would tell you the heroes are under those crosses in those foreign lands. You hear that time and time again, that they refuse to call themselves heroes. But I would like to introduce you to the highest award a human being in the military can get, of course, is the Congressional Medal of Honor. And we are fortunate to have three such in the room with us. And I'd like to introduce first Doc Donald Ballard for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life and beyond the call of duty while serving as Hospital Corpsman Second Class with Company M in connection with operations against enemy aggressor forces. During the afternoon hours, Company M was moving to join the remainder of the 3rd Battalion in Quang Tri Province. After treating and evacuating 2 heat casualties, Hospital Corpsman Second Class Ballard was returning to his platoon from the evacuation landing zone when the company was ambushed by a North Vietnamese Army unit employing automatic weapons and mortars and sustained numerous casualties. Observing a wounded Marine, Corpsman Ballard unhesitatingly moved across the fire, swept terrain to the injured man, and swiftly rendered medical assistance to his comrade. Corpsman Ballard then directed 4 Marines to carry the casualty to a position of relative safety. As the 4 men prepared to move the wounded Marine, an enemy soldier suddenly left his concealed position and after hurling a hand grenade, which landed near the casualty, commenced firing upon the small group of men. Instantly shouting warning to the Marines, Corpsman Ballard fearlessly threw himself upon the lethal explosive device to protect his comrades from the deadly blast. When the grenade failed to detonate, he calmly arose from his dangerous position and resolutely continued his determined efforts in treating other Marine casualties. Corpsman Ballard's heroic actions and selfless concern for the welfare of his companions served to inspire all who observed him and prevented possible injury or death to his fellow Marines. His courage, daring, initiative, and unwavering devotion to duty in the face of extreme personal danger sustained and enhanced the finest traditions of the United States Naval Service. Would you please give a nice round of applause to Doc Donald Ballard, please. Bring him up here so you can see. Doc Bell. Want a picture?
Yeah, just. Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening.
Doc Beller. Thank you, Doc. Robert Martin Patterson, Specialist, 4th Class, United States Army, Company Troop B, 2nd Squadron, Division 17 Cavalry, from Durham, North Carolina. For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action at the risk of his life, above and beyond the call of duty, Sergeant Patterson, then an SBC-4, distinguished himself while serving as a fire team leader of the 3rd Platoon, Troop B, during an assault against the North Vietnamese Army Battalion, which was entrenched in a heavily fortified position. When the leading squad of the 3rd Platoon was pinned down by a heavy interlocking automatic weapon and rocket-propelled grenade, fire from 2 enemy bunkers, Sergeant Patterson and the 2 other members of his assault team moved forward under a hail of enemy fire to destroy the bunkers with grenade and machine gun fire. Observing that his comrades were being fired on from a 3rd enemy bunker covered by enemy gunners in one-man spider hole, Sergeant Patterson, with complete disregard for his safety and ignoring the warning of his comrades that he was moving into a bunker complex, assaulted and destroyed the position. Although exposed to intensive small arm and grenade fire from the bunkers and their mutually supporting emplacements, Sergeant Patterson continued his assault upon the bunkers which were impeding the advance of his unit. Sergeant Patterson single-handedly destroyed, by rifle and grenade fire, 5 enemy bunkers, killed 8 enemy soldiers, and captured 7 weapons. His dauntless courage and heroism inspired his platoon to resume the attack and to penetrate the enemy defensive position. Sergeant Patterson's action at the risk of his life has reflected great credit upon himself, his unit, and the United States Army. Congressional Medal of Honor winner, Robert Martin Patterson. Alan Lynch, Sergeant, United States Army, Company D, 1st Battalion, Air Mobile, 12th Cavalry, 1st Cavalry Division, placed in date near Mai Ding Province, Republic of Vietnam, 15th December 1967. Entered service here in Chicago. For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, Sergeant Lynch, then SBC-4C, distinguished himself while serving as a radio telephone operator with Company D. While serving in the forward element on an operation near the village of Mayan, his unit became heavily engaged with a numerically superior enemy force. Quickly and accurately assessing the situation, Sergeant Lynch provided his commander with information which subsequently proved essential to the unit's successful actions. Observing 3 wounded comrades lying exposed to enemy fire, Sergeant Lynch dashed across 50 meters of open ground through a withering hail of enemy fire to administer aid. Reconnoitering a nearby trench and for a covered position to protect the wounded from intense hostile fire, he killed 2 enemy soldiers at point-blank range. With the trench cleared, he unhesitatingly returned to the fire-swept Area 3 times to carry the wounded men to safety. When his company was forced to withdraw by superior firepower of the enemy, Sergeant Lynch remained to aid his comrades at the risk of his life rather than abandon them. Alone, he defended his isolated position for 2 hours against the advancing enemy, using only his rifle and a grenade. He stopped them short of his trench, killing 5. Again, disregarding his safety in the face of withering hostile fire, he crossed 70 meters of exposed terrain 5 times to carry his wounded comrades to a more secure area. Once he had assured their comfort and safety, Sergeant Lynch located the counter-attacking friendly company to assist in directing the attack and evacuating the 3 casualties. His gallantry at the risk of his life is in the highest traditions of the military service. Sergeant Lynch has reflected a great credit on himself, the 12th Cavalry, and the United States Army. Congressional Medal of Honor Award, Alan Lynch. you so much for honoring these men and women that have served in our... By the way, that being said, all those, any of those who have served in the armed forces, would you stand? Any of those that you fellas that I haven't mentioned that served in our armed forces, if you're here, in any of the services? Thank you so much. It's interesting, in my neighborhood, after I came out of the service, there was a pizza place that we all hung out at, and if there were 20 guys in the pizza place, 19 served. And most of them were volunteers in Harvey, Illinois. Our men and women served. I say it's interesting because last November 11th, it was Veterans Day, and I was teaming off with 22 guys in my country club. We were throwing up balls to see which group would go first. And I said, hey, we ought to let the veterans ski off first. Today's Veterans Day. And they said, yeah. And I was the only veteran. There was only 22 guys. And I was the only one. I said, boy, if times have changed in my neighborhood, that would never be that way. You know? I think, did you have the raffle? Do we have that? Do you want to do that right now, Kevin? David? Oh. Do I know? Will you come up and tell me about it if I don't know?
Thanks, Tom. You did a fabulous job. Hats off to all the veterans, the Medal of Honor recipients, the Wilk, the Tuskegee Airmen, all the World War II veterans, all those that have served. Thank you so much for being here. It's very inspiring. Some of you have noticed, and we didn't promote this very well, but there's a book, coffee-style table book at your table. And this is the Congressional Medal of Honor book, 3rd edition. It includes a DVD, and they're autographed by the 3 Congressional Medal of Honor recipients. So the idea is to have a brief table auction, and that each book would find a happy home. You can take it home for yourself or give it to a gift if you have a loved one who served in the military. And in addition to the book itself, there's a $100 gift certificate from MJ Miller Jewelers, who purchased the books to make them available, no cost to Illinois Fatherhood Initiative, so all proceeds from these table auctions are going to go to the Illinois Fatherhood Initiative. And if that isn't enough, the 3 Congressional Medal of Honor recipients have agreed to have their photograph taken with those who purchased the books this evening. So, after the show, sorry, thank you. It's a $100 minimum, and it goes to the highest bidder at your table. So I encourage you to contemplate what donation you'd like to make on behalf of the Illinois Fatherhood Initiative. And we've agreed to split the proceeds with Honor Flight Chicago, so that we can send our veterans to World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. Thank you.
That makes it, that's a great book. I have that book at home. That's a great book. Now so you know what to do at the table. Now we got a great, we don't want, folks, whatever you do in the league, Gary Mueller and Dennis DeYoung are just outstanding talents, and they're going to be coming up shortly. But this year.
For the car that's out in the pre-function area, that's outside on the course today, 2012 Hyundai Elantra Limited. There is a description in the program book that you have as well about the car and the features. All of the golfers have money entries, right? Have entry in here as well. Once anybody else has purchased the 3 entries for $500.
And the winner. And the winner is Tom Dreesen. This is it. The winner is Michael Pagnizio. P-O-G-N-I-Z. It looks like a D. Michael? That's you, Michael? No. Oh, that's you. But you know him. Okay. Just for that, you can like ride in the back seat. But so he doesn't have to be present to win, huh?
Yes, he does.
Oh, you have to be present to win?
Yes, you do.
And the guy's not here? You know, I never ever swear in my act, but it's tough shit, isn't it? And the mayor of Bolingbrook pulls out Gus Arguello. Wow. Sarquello. You know, you just,
Check his ID.
yeah. Let me see, Gus. Wait a minute. Gus, are you Italian?
No, sir.
Oh, you
I'm Hispanic.
Well, this ain't you, Gus. Sorry about that. Do you have your papers with you, Gus? The winner, Gus. I got it. Congratulations. If it makes you feel any better, Gus, I want you to know I love Mexican food. It's a bit spicy for me. There's a saying, if you eat Chinese food an hour later you're hungry. I say if you eat Mexican food an hour later you wish you'd eaten Chinese food. But that was nice. One more, a nice round of applause for Roger Clare of the Maribel, who does so much for us. My dad, like Roger Clare, was a staunch conservative and voted the Republican street ticket his whole life in Chicago, and until he died. And then, of course, after he died, he voted Democratic for the rest of the years. He was a Democrat after he died. That's just the way it is in Chicago. You know. And he voted often too. Well, I don't want to. I'm happy to be here. I've had a great time, as I do every year. I flew into O'Hare a while back. By the way, last time I was at O'Hare, if you folks haven't been there in a while, I was searched. You know, I think TSA should stand for touching sensitive areas. Do you agree? Because, you know, I had a choice. They could pat me down, or I could go to that machine, you know, and risk getting cancer, the radiation. Or I could be patted down and find out at this stage of my life that I get aroused when a man touches me there too, you know. You know what I think they should do? They should let us pick our pattern. I mean, if we're going to be patted down, pick our pattern like they do at a brothel. I've never been to one, but Raj says that's what they do. They pick your pattern, line them up, say the one big one on the end with the hard look in your eyes and the soft hands. Yeah, you can. You don't want to make them quit, guys? Seriously? Don't get mad. Get into it. Start moaning. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, right there. Oh, yeah. Because we men get nervous when you get near the family jewels. And I don't know why I call it that, but men, for some reason, call that part of our anatomy the family jewels. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's not like your wife has a beautiful evening gown on and she's going out the door. Honey, you going out tonight? You want to wear my balls around your neck? The family jewels. Do you know, Randy Huntley, you may know this, Randy. In 1871 in baseball, well, I don't mean that you were there, Randy. I don't mean that at all. But in 1871 in baseball, men start wearing the cup to protect the family jewels. In 1971, it became mandatory in baseball for men to wear a helmet. It took men 100 years to realize the brain is important also. Those are facts you have to recognize. That's the problem with the world today, folks, lack of recognition. You know, Muslims do not recognize the Jews as the chosen people. Jews do not recognize Jesus as the Messiah. Protestants do not recognize the Pope as the leader of the Christian world. Baptists do not recognize each other at Hooters. I believe in all faiths. I only have a problem with the clergy. They would tell their flock to strap a bomb on yourself and blow yourself up, and if you do, you get 72 virgins. 72 virgins. I'm an Italian, give me 3 sluts. It's always good to come back home. I went to my school reunion in Harvey a while back. By the way, folks, if you haven't been to a school reunion, don't go. They got old people there who claim they were your classmates, you know what I'm talking about? You know, there's certain ways, you see, how do you know when you're getting old? You know, like maybe you get in an elevator and they're playing your favorite song, you know, that's a good sign, you know. Or you know, for men, you see you get up at, for some reason, this happens to all men. You don't realize you're getting old, but all of a sudden you have to get up every morning around 3 o'clock and you have to go pee. Now that's not when you know you're getting old. You know you're getting old when you're in there peeing and you're making sounds that your grandfather used to make. Oh, 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 oh. My great-grandfather didn't smoke or drink, and he lived to be 103 years old. And he didn't die, he just overslept one day and they buried him. But when that happens to you guys, you know, then you got to go see that doctor. And oh, geez, and then the reason you don't go is because other guys will tell you, yeah, I got to get that prostate checked. The older guys, and then they say, yeah, I got to get that prostate checked. And then they tell you how you're going to get examined. And so that keeps you away for another 5 years, right? But I had to go a while back, a few weeks back, and had to get that exam. And you guys know the procedure. I was a nervous wreck. I'm waiting in this doctor's office, and they put me in the room, and I'm sitting there scared to death. And then come this doctor, a man I'd never seen before in my life, and I couldn't look him in his eyes because I was too busy staring at the size of his fingers. And I couldn't see his fingers because he had a rubber glove in one hand and the biggest tube of KY jelly I've ever seen in my life. And he talked to me, and then finally said, it's time for the exam, Tom. And you guys know the procedure. This is what he said to me. He said, Tom, I want you to turn around. I want you to drop your pants, drop your shorts, bend over, put your elbows on the table. He wasn't a great-looking guy, but he wasn't a bad-looking guy either. But anyway. And moments later, he violated me for what seemed like an eternity in his search for Jimmy Hoffa or whatever the hell he was doing. Amelia Earhart, I don't know what he was looking for. But... And then he walked out of the room. I'm standing there with my underwear down around my ankles. I felt so presidential. But it hurts, folks. It hurts. It's been 2 weeks. He doesn't call. He doesn't write. Old man was laying in a hospital. Old man had an oxygen mask on. The nurse came in the room and he said, Nurse, are my testicles black? She said, I'll let the doctor discuss that with you. He said, Nurse, are my testicles black? She said, oh, he's an old guy. She pulled the sheet down, pulled his underwear down, and she started fondling and fondling. And she said, I can assure you, your testicles are not black. He took the mask off. He said, for the last time, Nurse, are my test results back? But it's always good to come to my hometown. I'm so happy to be here. I struggled so many years in this business, in show business. In fact, I tell this story all the time. One time in downtown Chicago, I hadn't worked for like 4 months, and I saw a sign that said, gynecologist assistant needed. And I went and I said to the guy, what do you do? He said, well, you're a gynecologist assistant, you're going to have to assist the doctor. And I said, what do you do? He said, well, you'll get the patient, and then what you'll have to do is take shaving cream, and you have to shave the area he's going to examine. And after you shave the area he's going to examine, you have to take some cream, and then you have to, wipe it down with the cream. And he said it pays $65,000 a year. I said, wow. And he said, you have to go to Nome, Alaska. I said, that's where the job is at? He said, no, that's where the back of the line is, asshole. Anyhow, you've been wonderful. We've got 2 short acts, but they're wonderful, wonderful entertainers, and they're going to knock your socks off and want to leave you. We'll have you leave you laughing too. But I'd like to first introduce my good buddy, who many of you know from Chicago. He's a keyboardist, lead singer, songwriter, and producer of Styx, a Chicago rock group who have sold over 30 million albums worldwide. He's the composer of Styx hits, Come Sail Away, Babe, Lady, and Mr. Roboto. Styx has had 9 top 10 hits. He wrote 8 of them. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome a guy from the south side of Chicago, my good friend, Dennis DeYoung. Dennis. Here he comes. From the south side of Chicago, the lead singer of Styx. Great entertainer. Welcome home.
How you doing? Well, I thought there was, when Tom first called me, I had 2 thoughts. Number one was, when is he going to pay me that money he owes me? And secondly, he said it was for World War II veterans. And of course, my dad, he was at D-Day, Day 5, I think. Day one, maybe I'm not here, I don't know. But I'll tell you a quick story. Because, you know, the Tom Brokaw called him the greatest generation, and I think it's true. He never talked about the war. And I was older, I found out he won the Bronze Star. But every time I asked him as a kid, he would say, I zigged when I was supposed to zig and zagged when I was supposed to zag. And he never ever told me anything other than that. And when he was 78 years old, it was a couple years before he died, it was Christmas and he gave me this box, and in it was a gun, which I'd seen many times before. It was a 9mm pistol. It had my mom's picture on it. And in it was this letter, which I had framed and put in a big thing at home, but I wasn't going to carry it here. This is what it said. I can get through it. Son, I would like you to have this gun as a memento from World War II. I don't know the age of the gun, but in 1945, after the Battle of the Bulge, we crossed the Rhine and knew the Germans were retreating by the thousands. I drove the reconnaissance jeep with Captain Mueller and Corporal Kyle, our gunner. We encountered a unit of 15 German soldiers. They surrendered with guns thrown to the ground and arms up in the air. The soldier who was in command was hedging and hanging back. He drew his gun and fired twice. And so the story ends. I have his gun and my life. Take good care of it. Love, Dad. So that was that. Anyway, I grew up on the south side of the city of Chicago. If I don't know, there's Vietnam veterans here. I've done some stuff. I was at the big parade back in '86. Were you guys at that one? I played the Grand Park. We did some concerts. I actually titled my second solo album "Back to the World," and it was a song on that album called "Black Wall." If I known there'd be Vietnam veterans, I'd have played that song tonight. But nonetheless, I'm just going to play some hit records. You might recognize them, you might not, but act like you do, would you please? I'm begging. So I grew up in Roseland. Does anybody know where Roseland is? In fact, Styx, three guys grew up on the same street, 101st Place, Dubuque State, Michigan. And the first song I ever wrote and sang and, on a record by myself with this next thing, I wrote it about a girl that I dated and married eventually. And this is, say hello to August Zadra. He's my guitar player. He just happens to be in town because we're going to be playing since we played Chicago last night. When was it? Wednesday night. And we're playing in Cincinnati tomorrow, so I said, come on out here and I'll buy you dinner. So this is what I did and I made him pay. This is the first song I ever sang on a record. Just ready? I need a little more volume. Let's see.
Give me
you! You know, I just turned 65 this year. Yeah, that's what I thought. And to tell you the truth, you know what's good about being this age? Help me out, buddy. Nothing. No, I was just in California, and I was out there. Dreesen, you live out in California, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They say, I'm out there. They say 60 is the new 40. Did you know this? I said, you must have felt like shit when you were 40. That's all I was. No, the good thing is you don't have to be cool anymore when you're this age. If you try to look cool, we can spot you. In fact, now, Tom, right now, underneath my shirt, my pants are right here. So anyway, I met a girl she was 15 years old at a high school dance on the south side of Chicago. Yeah? What are you applauding? I met a girl? Okay, I like it anyway. Keep applauding through the whole thing, I don't mind. So we dated, and then we went steady, isn't that quaint, steady? And then we got married. We've been married 42 years. So I wrote this as a birthday present for her birthday in 1979, in lieu of jewelry. Wasn't supposed to be a stick song, but the record company heard it and said, that doesn't suck that much. And they released it and went to #1. This is for Suzanne. One last song for you. Like I said, you know, just off the top of my head, in 1967, I was 19. I lost my student deferment. I was 1A. I believe the draft board was on 62nd Western for me. I went down and coughed and passed my physical. And for the next year, I went to the mailbox like this. Oh my God. And it never came. And the next year they had the lottery. And I had like 270 something. So my life would have been so much different. And the first song, I just wanted to mention this. I wrote a song called Black Wall, which is about the wall in D.C. And the first line of that song was, I was lucky, you know, I wasn't there, and I didn't have to go and face my fear. Still this hidden pain rose up from the belly of a beast. And even 10 years past, we're haunted now from both sides of the truth. And the ghost of Tim Food. This wall keeps hanging on as if it were today. So many a good man died on the road from Tanqueray. They won every battle they fought, but the one that raged at home. And now the only words that count are the names carved out in stone. As tears fall on the stone, black wall, black wall, black wall, my God, black wall. Oh, Sound the bugle boys for a 21-gun salute. Call for the ticket tape and assemble all the troops. Now the word about honorables on the halls of napalm. Let Johnny come marching home, greet him with a prayer song. For the boys of Vietnam, the boys of Vietnam. Looks like I'm marching home. We didn't rehearse it, we hadn't played it in a long, long time, but I thought it was appropriate. Here we go. Sing with me, will ya? I'm sailing away, set an open course for the virgin sea. Here you go. 'Cause I've got to be free, free to face the life that's ahead of me. I know I'm the captain, so climb aboard. We'll search for tomorrow. I
Young. Chicago's own. Great job, Dennis. Great job, Dennis. Oh, we have one more act. Please be seated because you are going to enjoy this. For those of you who've never seen him before, you're in for a real treat. For those of you who've seen him before, you know what to expect. Because hold on to your hats. Okay, can you please be seated, folks? Those of you who are standing. I know some of you have been sitting, your underwear is riding up. I know.
Last call is calling.
Folks, if I can I make sure you're seated over there? Yeah, that's it. Unless you're leaving, but please don't leave. Our last act, and he's knocked your socks off every year he's been here. Don't forget the silent auction on your way out to get your gifts at the silent auction. Folks, I don't want to bring my act up if all you are going to be standing over there. Okay, you're going to put me seated, okay? Listen, I think this here way awesome. My good buddy, whenever people say to me, you know, you're a comedian, who makes you laugh? I always say this guy, Gary Mulder. Nobody makes me laugh like this guy makes me laugh. I've known him since the first month I was in show business. We became friends. Irv Kupson had put us on a show with Jack Bennett many years ago, and he's been my friend ever since. And he flew all over hell in creation to get here tonight. I can't tell you what he had to go through at the last minute to come in here and be with and help me with the show. So I appreciate you staying here to hear him. He's made over 350 TV shows, including Johnny Carson and David Letterman. He hosted Don Kirshner's rock concert on NBC 1977-81. Part of the Johnny Mathis show now for the past 20 years. In the last month, he's worked with Alice Cooper, Chicago Kiss and the Doors, and 2 weeks ago, for 76,000 people with the Zac Brown Band. Will you welcome back our favorite, Gary Mulder?
Walking around the parking lot. It's windy out there. The taste of love is sweet when hearts like ours beat. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell in. Couple of months ago, checked into a hotel. There's a Bible beside the bed. I opened it up. There's a message inside that said, "If you're an alcoholic, if you think you have a drinking problem, please call this number." I called it. It was a liquor store. Golf wears me out. Other guys hit off the tee, hear things like "nice drive," "great shot." You got all of that one. When I hit, you hear things like "that'll work." That won't hurt you. I think it opens up over there. Hit one this morning, the guy said it sounded good. I said, "Where'd it go?" He said, "I didn't see it." I belong to Spearfish Canyon Country Club in the Black Hills of western South Dakota. Our pro is a 16. Had a plan less than a couple of months ago. I had to give him 5 aside. We had a devastating fire at our clubhouse about 3 years ago. Burned it right down to the axles. So you're playing for the club championship. You and your opponent are even after 17 holes. You have the honor in the 18th tee. You hit your drive right down the middle of the fairway, 250 yards. He goes off straight right into the woods. You help him look for his ball for about 10 minutes. Finally, he says, "Look, you go back and hit your second shot. I'll look for a few more minutes. If I don't find my ball, I'll go back and tee up and hit another one." You go back, you hit your second shot. It drops 10 feet from the pin, right under the green. Just as your ball hits, you hear, "Found it." Out of the woods comes his ball, drops right down about this far from the cup for a gimme. Here's the dilemma. Do you take the cheating bastard's ball out of your pocket and confront him with it? you just keep your mouth shut. You guys have had plenty of time to drink tonight, haven't you? I used to drink them dry. That's not as popular as it used to be. Last time I got stopped, the highway patrolman said you were going 90 miles an hour. I said, I haven't been out an hour. He said, can I see your license? I said, can I shoot your gun? Don't ever say that, no. He said, all right, I want to see your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance. I must have gone to that glove compartment for 20 minutes until I realized I was sitting in the front seat of his car. I blew in their breathalyzer. Readout came back, said, one at a time, please. So I'm sitting in the courtroom, and my lawyer says, listen, while I'm working on an appeal, why don't you try to escape? Well, since my memory left me, I found a new place to dwell. It's down at the...
You think we should put pictures of missing transvestites on cartons of half and half?
God, no wonder I've been so irritable tonight.
So, what size was Hale before they invented golf balls?
A couple of months ago, my wife said, how come you're not wearing your wedding ring? I said, it's been cutting off my circulation. She said, it's supposed to.
Saw a butterfly the other day. It had something on the back of one of its wings. It was a tattoo of a drunk biker chick.
Let it out, folks. Doesn't get any better. My grandpa used to say, listen, if we all like the same things, everybody'd be after your grandma. Grandpa used to say some weird things. He used to say things like, one good turn gets most of the blankets. One time I said, Grandpa, what's the quickest way to get to the lake? He said, you walking or driving? I said, I'm driving. He said, that's the quickest. I was about to enter my 5th year as a freshman at Black Hills State Teachers College in Spearfish, South Dakota. I decided I better do something different with my life. So I took a guitar lesson. I practiced 15 Johnny Cash songs for 10 days, went to the Buffalo Bar in Deadwood, South Dakota, and got a job. I've been working ever since. It was 1960. This is the second song I ever learned to play and sing at the same time. Hit it, Danny. I hear that train coming, it's rolling around here. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know where. Yeah, I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. Time keeps dragging on, but we keep electing. With that train keeps rolling, I'll never stand anymore. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno, yeah, just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blow, hey, Annie.
$2.75, skip the complimentary breakfast.
Guy calls up his boss and says, I'm sick. His boss says, what's wrong? The guy says, I have anal glaucoma. His boss says, what's that? The guy says, you really can't see my ass coming into work today. Nationwide SPCA clinic, dogs and cats spayed and neutered $4, senior citizens $2.75. President of Dunkin' Donuts died, and they found him, his eyes are all glazed over. Over 1,200 cops at the funeral. And he was laid to rest in a box with 11 others. The national IQ test today, Lindsay Lohan rated just behind Charlie Sheen, and the Kardashian sisters are still looking for a number 2 pencil. Family of flamingos has statues of Italians in their yard. Finally, in a recent governor's poll, the residents of Arizona were asked if they think illegal immigration is a serious problem. 29% responded, yes it is. 71% said, no es una problema serioso.
Just merged. They have a new company. It's called You Twit Face.
Guy goes into the sheriff's office and says, I think my wife's trying to poison me. What should I do? Sheriff said, be very vigilant. Careful what you eat and drink. Get back to me in a couple of days. 2 days later, the guy goes in the sheriff's office and said, what'd you find out? Sheriff said, well, after you left yesterday, I had your wife come down to the station for about 4 hours. And this morning she came in for 3, went shopping, came back, we had her here for 5 more. The guy says, what do you think I should do? The sheriff said, take the poison. John F. Kennedy and Abraham Lincoln both had 7 letters in their last name. John F. Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was born in a log cabin. John F. Kennedy once spilled log cabin syrup in the backseat of his grandfather's Lincoln. Coincidence? I don't think so. God, you guys are great. Want to go to Denny's later? Denny's, boy, talk about truth in advertising when they say the food is as good as it looks. Denny's actually had a slogan once, your food will be coming right up. What was that all about? I took Grandpa to Denny's one time. The coffee was cold, the eggs were runny, the hash browns were soggy, the toast was burned. As we were leaving, Grandpa turned to the cashier and he said, my compliments to the photographer.
A monk. He goes to the monastery and signs up. After he signs up, he finds out he has to take a vow of silence. He's only allowed 2 words every 10 years. He can't believe it. 10 years go by, he walks in, the head monks look up, the guy says, food cold. That's it for 10 years. After 20 years, he walks in, the head monks look up, the guy says, bed hard. That's it for 20. After 30 years, he walks in, the head monk looks up, the guy says, I quit. Head monk says, well, it doesn't surprise me. You've been bitching ever since you got here.
You guys are making me feel great. I was a little depressed sitting downstairs a while ago. For some reason, I caught before the show, I was thinking about circumcision. What a stupid thing. I was circumcised on the day I was born. I couldn't walk for a year. the door. I answered it. It was two Jehovah's Witnesses. I invited them in. We sat down on the couch. I said, well, what do you want to talk about? They said, we don't know. We've never made it this far. 4 years ago, I recorded a song with Michael Jackson, a 7-time Grammy winner in Nashville, and I did this song in the Grand Ole Opry about 4 times. And it's a story of our nation's oldest flag. I'd like to end my set tonight, in honor of all of our great veterans here tonight. This is the story of our oldest flag. This is the story of Old Glory. Lexington and Concord were the places of her birth. She got her red stripes from the blood spilled upon the earth. When men of every age and station fought to make us free, little did they know then what a symbol she would be. Clark and Lewis held her high as they explored this land. Her colors waved throughout the West, across the Rio Grande. Through sacrifice with vision, as we spread from sea to sea, she marked every single step, hard-won victory. Through the challenges of history, our flag stood tall and true. Though battle-scarred, weather-torn was she. Today she represents the pride of all the souls who served and died. Why for you and me she'll always be. Old Glory, Old Glory. She watched over Ellis Island and 100 foreign tongues of the displaced and the misplaced, the persecuted ones. No other nation on this earth would give safe haven to. She could speak, she said, it was the least she could do. Constitution, Bill of Rights, Lincoln on his throne, Jefferson Memorial, the Capitol's dome, Arlington's white crosses, Vietnam's black wall. She celebrates our honor as she flies above them all. Through challenges of history, our flag stood tall and true. Though battle-scarred, weather-torn was she. Today she represents the pride of all the souls who served and died. Why for you and me she'll always be. Old Glory, Old Glory, Old Glory, Old Glory, Old Glory, Old Glory. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tom.
Gary Mule there. Gary Mule there. Thank you, Gary. Great job. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I can't thank you enough for all your support, and to all you veterans in this room. Know that we don't take it for granted. We don't take this freedom for granted, and we thank you for your sacrifice in the past. God bless you all. God bless America. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next year.